Yeah, it's getting through the screen, right?
All right, we have student athletes Karis Baker and Kyla Freeland in the room. Coach Duffy, can you start us off with an opening statement?
Yeah, I'm happy with our grit and toughness today. It was not the prettiest basketball game, and give Pitt some credit for that. Their kids played very hard, made some big plays. But I was just really proud of the way we stepped up in the fourth quarter defensively, whether it was our rebounding, taking a charge, and then offensively, finally got back to maybe ourselves a little bit, sharing and moving the ball, and got some really nice possessions.
I'll move forward to questions. Thomas.
Coach, to capture your sixth straight win, what does that sort of mean for you?
It just means a good win against Pitt. I mean, this league, it turns into the gauntlet in January and February. So I just said to our team, like, they're not always going to be pretty, but the positive thing was we got a great W tonight. And I think we've been focused all year, and I'm really proud of our team for just really staying in the moment of getting better every day, preparing for the next team. Wake style is very different than Pitt, right? And then UVA is going to be very different this weekend. So just staying in the moment and, not getting too high or too low and just staying really hungry to get better is all we're asking. And, these two are the epitome of that, just trying to improve and get better. And, positive things will continue to happen.
And then outshot Pitt 17-6 in the final frame. What was kind of the focus there on defense? This is a question for you, Coach.
Sure, yeah. I just thought we tightened up a little bit. It helped that Michaela Johnson fouled out late in the quarter, which, took the ball out of her hands a little bit. But I think our post defense was really good inside on 21. I thought we got out on Villegas when she got hot a few minutes earlier in the game and just tightened up on a couple things. Guards got their hands on a couple little steals and, prevented some easier possessions for them.
We'll go in the back of the block follow.
Kyla, double-double for you tonight. What was working for you?
Honestly, I'd say just listening to Coach, listening to my teammates, doing the little things, a lot, especially things that we work on in practice, crashing the glass, and making sure I'm there whenever one of them is just driving.
And what makes Michaela Johnson such a difficult person to defend?
She's a great little player. I mean, she's a veteran. She's had some really good games this season. I think she's versatile. It's probably the biggest thing that she's added to her game. Always been a pretty good shooter, but, her ability to get downhill and be physical. She was relentless at times, just at the mindset of I'm going to get a bucket. And we made a couple mistakes on how we were guarding her, and, she took advantage of it. Great players do. So we're going to have to get a little bit better at that, but give her a lot of credit for the evening she had.
Megan, I think you used the same five for most of that fourth quarter. What was working so well with that group? And you mentioned the defense. What allowed that group, the connectivity, to work so well down the stretch?
Yeah, I think early we were, going to our bench and trying to give these guys a few extra minutes earlier in the game. And, and with a little bit of the up and down play, at some point you got to go with the five who are really clicking. And I thought that group that was out there on the floor really tightened up defensively. And then finally, we just kind of said in the locker room, finally we started, doing what we do, sharing and moving the ball and getting some easier shots and higher percentage shots. I thought we missed a few easy ones tonight, but that's going to happen. And that's why we kept talking about just, tighten up a little bit defensively and make sure our rebounding is strong. And hope the clock runs out too, right, at that point.
Karis, it seemed like you guys got a lot of good looks. Did you like kind of the offense you were generating? Is just one of those nights where it just kind of doesn't fall sometimes? They rim out a lot?
Yeah, we had good looks, like everyone said, and everyone just told me to keep shooting, but it was just one of those nights, I guess. But I thought everyone else had a really good night. I mean, Kyla was huge for us. Carly had a good night as well, and I think if shots aren't falling, I have to figure out ways to affect the game in other ways, and so I think I cleaned up my rebounding, and then also just helping everyone on the defensive end as well. Shots weren't falling, but, it happens.
No, Mark and then Tucker.
For each of you, you guys have won 6 straight games now. What are you seeing from the team to kind of explain this winning streak?
I can answer. I think Coach Duffy always tells us, keep the foot on the gas. We're never going to just go into every game thinking that it's going to be easy. We're in ACC play. We're in January. It's never going to be easy. So we never go into any game thinking it's just going to be a blowout, just thinking that we're going to come into practice one day and just kind of not, think that everyone's in the same level here. Everyone's in the ACC. Everyone's playing for something, playing for something bigger. So we know that coming into every practice, it's not going to be easy. And even Coach Duffy always says we got to stay humble in the process. And I think the P word is really big for us right now, process. I mean, we're always going to be in this process. We're always going to be working to get better. And we're going to get into the gym tomorrow. And we're going to get better for UVA on Sunday. That's a rivalry game, so it's going to be huge for us. So we can't keep the foot off the gas. And yes, we won this game tonight, but we got a big one on Sunday.
I guess, obviously since those back-to-back losses to Miami and Louisville, you haven't lost since. What are you seeing of the team of late here to explain that?
I think we're just growing together. I think that's always been our plan from back in the summertime, to continue to improve. And, we find that balance of, really leaning on each other of how we're going to do that. I think we're pretty connected right now. I think we're challenging each other in practice, but we're also really celebrating each other when people are doing well. Our bench has gotten better, which takes a little bit of pressure off these guys sometimes, and that's what we always envisioned. And I think our schedule coming up is going to be challenging, and I think that's why we're just so focused on playing good quality basketball and really dissecting what happened today. And figure out, okay, how can we be better with our one-on-one defense? How can we be better with executing the offense a little bit better? You look back at a couple games, like, Clemson, we're down a bunch and we come back and win. Miami, we're up a bunch and we lose it. Like, there's just the margin of error is so slim. So we really are just trying to, like, I just keep telling them, like, don't get too high or too low. Just work on every possession. Can you get the max to your ability? Let's make adjustments within the game. I thought they were really in tune as the game went on in the third and fourth quarter. Despite missing some shots, I felt like we were like, everybody was there trying to be like, let's fight through this, and that's paying off. I don't know if we had that at Louisville, and obviously we had a heartbreaker against Miami. So the more they can mature and grow through adverse moments, and just dig into the heart a little bit, hopefully you put yourself in position to win games.
They cut the lead to 5 points with 4 minutes to go, but they never scored again. You guys scored the last 12 points of the game. What kind of changed there in those last 4 minutes for you guys to wrap this thing up?
I'd say a lot of it was just the little things, just the details of getting back in front of your man, having each other's help side, and we communicated a lot more in those last 4 minutes than we did most of the game, honestly. It was a lot of communication before the plays would start, through the plays, and making sure we had those help sides, so yeah.
Coach, another part of that 6-game streak is that you moved Layla into the starting 5 and Mel into the kind of that microwave scorer 6-man role. What do you think in terms of on-court fit has made that so effective?
I think a little bit was after Miami and Louisville. We just talked about the standard of what we needed to have every day, and I could give two craps about who starts. I want them playing to a standard, and the way they work, the way they communicate. We've talked a lot about Mel, Samaya, and Layla, the way they can contribute to a game in all different ways. Sometimes it's the defense. Sometimes it's Layla hitting a couple threes like she did the other night. Mel can score the basketball, and she's really growing with her defense at the same time. So it's a luxury for me to be able to, move people around, and that helps Mackie and Carly tremendously. So I don't know, maybe the players care if they start or not, but we're just trying to win, and I think everybody's bought into that.
We're going to go Thomas, and then final question with David.
So, Karis, this is a question for you. So Pitt actually had more defensive rebounds than Tech, but you guys held a commanding 36-24 advantage in the paint, 20-7 advantage in second chance points. What did you like about your team's aggression in the interior?
Yeah, I think we had a lot of people step up and help Kyla and I rebound, so I thought that was huge. I think that was a big emphasis going into the second half. We needed to have more people helping on the rebounding end. I think Samaya was huge in that. She had that spark where she had like 2 back-to-back rebounds on the offensive end, so that was really big for us. And we just always talk about the guards like stepping in, and then obviously Kyla was huge for us too in the rebounding end. So I think just having everyone contributing, all 5 rebounding, so that's always an emphasis for us coming into every game.
Kyla, Coach said you guys are pretty connected right now. What do you feel like as a player in this locker room? What do you feel like is the difference in terms of the vibe around here as opposed to like maybe a month ago, before this 6-game winning streak?
I'd say a lot of it is our energy coming into practice, our energy with the skill workouts we're doing, and just the way we carry ourselves with each other and how much more positive we are. Like, we've always been a positive team, but there's a difference in a team that's positive and a positive team that's pushing each other to be even more positive and work harder each day. So I feel like all of us have been pushing ourselves more and more with the extra shots, the extra defensive stuff, the extra clips, and I feel like that's what's making us be more successful right now.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.